You are now rocking with the 3-yard play.
Right.
We just figured out a 3-yard play, fam. We're gonna win every time.
Yeah.
Hit that link with you. Come on in.
You're tuned into the 3-Yard Play podcast. Well, the only question is, does it work for you?
Trail got wings, bitch.
We've been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We've been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We live in weight just to hold up the trophy. Flag on the plate, cause them haters can't hold me. And 1, 2-a-days and run up the biggest hill just to sharpen up my skills. They hit the scoreboard first, I had to hit them drills. Time I get around the corner, they gon' see my new wheels. After practice, till the lights come on, till they bust ride out and they gone. That rally had us help, my teammate down the steps. Player, we got plays you ain't even seen yet. I post up and fade away like graffiti. Just don't claim it's love when you see us on TV. We've been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
3-yard play podcast.
We've been working
brought to you by reality.
all year.
Where it is, what it is.
Game time.
You get what you get.
We all here.
So comment and let us know where you live.
Yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
Yo, what's good, everybody? 3-yard play. Special broadcast, man. We coming to you live to give you an update that Brittany Griner has been freed. That's right. Brittany Griner is on her way home as we speak. Free BG, pillars backwards, and hey, she's free now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, Timo?
I'm chilling, brother. How you doing, man?
Man, living la vida, man. I woke into the news and like, wow, hey, look at God, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Had to take this quick break from the studies and stuff. Kind of talk about Brittany, man. Kind of excited about the her being on the way home, bro. Yes, that was a tough one, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought we'd never see this day, not this soon at least.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna do at least about 5 before we got to this point. I ain't necessarily think she would do the whole 9, but I felt like she was gonna probably do roughly more than half of it.
Right. I just thought that leverage for this because our country took such interest in her return. I thought they just used her as a political pawn for as long as they possibly could.
Yeah,
as much as they could out of that situation.
During the climate, yeah, you're right, because of the way the climate is right now, it did not seem like a climate of resolution.
Right, not at all.
It seemed like it was
all
gonna
about
bring much.
leveraging more assets, to get what you want,
Yeah. Now and overall it's interesting in that the way it's played out, man. You get to see, something that we might not have expected to see in America in our lifetime, in which we get to see a Black female become president over even white male POWs and other people that had been in captivity and that had been over there that arguably were in line first to try to get back.
I ain't know where you were going, but I sure felt it in my spirit before it came out your mouth. I was thinking the same thing. I said, "Damn, a sister made it home before this." Not to make no. I don't want to make light of the what's his name, Paul Whelan.
Yeah, Paul Whelan.
I want to make light of that, but I never thought they'll go over as white male and bring home let a Black woman come home. You know what I mean? Especially with all the news coverage on our end, with people protesting and in support of Brittany and Paul. Not to like I said, not to be dismissive at all, but just the moment just calls for us to talk a little bit more about Brittany at this time. But in terms of the news, the media coverage over her being in prison in Russia, and it was just like, hey, we don't hear a lot about our Black women when they're going through stuff. You know what I mean? It's usually suppressed or not prioritized, if you will.
Yeah, we're in a time in which you get to see, I guess, just the power of influence, because based on who she is, I think is why her case takes precedent. And I think, the sentencing was really harsh and it was overboard. Arguably she was out of bounds. She shouldn't have did what she did while she was there, according to their rules and statutes. But it did seem like they really dropped the hammer on her. However, at the same time, the fact is, she's an international star and she really is I guess, public figure over here, I think greatly helped her out in moving things, because you got the power of the internet and social media now, where all day you probably had somebody, tweeting, posting, reposting. It was something that just stayed in the public eye, to where arguably the work of the people helped her get free. But shoot, also shouts out to Brittany Griner's wife, because she stayed down.
She's on that grind.
Every time they showed that lady, really advocating. And I didn't know anything about Brittany Griner's wife or who she was before this happened. You just knew Brittany Griner was famous, but I think her wife is also the real MVP for just being such an advocate and refusing to let it go.
Right, and I agree with that. I also think about a lot of times we don't recognize our privilege also, because, the plight of our people a lot of times, but hey, we just notice that, hey, sometimes, like you say, being an athlete will bring some privileges, you know what I mean, that you wouldn't normally get some exposure that you wouldn't normally get. I'm sure, there are other people been fighting these fights, I know for a fact, it's a lot of people fighting these fights, but then to your point too, though, hey, finding that one person that's in your corner that's down for whatever and will fight to the end. So just shout out to the Whelan family as well, because I know they're in the same fight. Like I said, I don't want to be dismissive at all, because man, it's a very sensitive subject. Very happy, but it's sad at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That also brings me to this with you real quick. As I was kind of reading up on things and trying to see how these privileges work, like, and just knowing that she was brought in on cannabis oil charge for smuggling, I guess, trying to smuggle cannabis oil out the country, and then Paul was Whelan was he was in prison for spying.
Yeah, they alleged espionage in his situation.
Right, and then just saying that they were like, hey, Russia used those two charges to kind of make their decision. You know what I mean? As to what was, hey, they took that spy charge a lot more serious than that cannabis oil charge, if you will. But then, so it was just, man, it's a crazy situation, because I don't, like you said, what I stated earlier, I should say, when I was thought about, hey, I thought they just kind of use her as a political pawn for as long as she can, but just knowing that now that she's back, what's the leverage for getting him back home? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it did seem like that was that Russia seemed like they were motivated to get their citizen home. Victor Bout is, I think, how they pronounce his name. He was allegedly an arms dealer, and he had been gone. I think he had been in custody for damn near 15 years. So it's interesting when you really look. Brittany Griner's situation, arguably tip of the iceberg, because you got a lot of people, throughout the world that are just in other countries being held, and they've been held for significant amounts of time. So there was a lot of controversy over us being willing to trade, this individual for Brittany Griner. However, I'm sure, that gentleman's family is ecstatic that he's coming home. Imagine he'd been gone 15 years, 16 years if he wasn't doing whatever.
Right.
I'm sure his people can't wait for him to get home and to miss time with him. And the same thing for the gentleman, Paul Whelan, I want to say, who's I think he has some Marine background or some service background, but he's been, in custody for 3 years. So everybody misses their loved ones and wants their people home. I think a big takeaway that I kind of got from this is also for us, just generally, because we're here at the 3 Hour Play podcast, we want to figure out how this relates to us, as Black people, especially Black males. And a real takeaway for me is that just, you got to know the climate and the lay of the land as you're traveling. Because right now, with all the political unrest going on and just different kind of tensions, it's not really a good climate to be somewhere in a country where these people are not, they're adversaries to the U.S. And they would do whatever, because there's no reason she should have got a sentence like that over such a small thing. But we can't say how they're supposed to do their stuff, and we also know If it's already tense, then shit, we probably don't even need to be over there.
Right. And I'm also kind of reminded of that war on drugs and how these weed charges got a lot of brothers locked up and locked down and caught up, and their family is still waiting for them to be released, and folks making all this money on these charges, and we trying to get folks free. You know, I think I heard I think it's Becky Hammond. I think that's she just a little phrase that she made when she was talking about it on with Sports Center. She said, yeah, she's locked up on nothing, you know. But I was like, man, you know, just hearing that as a black man, it kind of triggered me a little bit. No, it's a little bit of something, because we got a lot of folks locked up, had their lives destroyed over I guess you say cannabis and all that stuff. So it's tough, man. It's a tough, but like I say, it's a bag of emotions. But they all start with happy to see her free and wanting to see other folks who have been wrongfully accused, if you will. You can't really prove it, you know what I mean? And then the other, like I said, I know I'm all over the place. So as I say, it's just a bag of emotions, because I also think about how it's maybe some political stunting going on from, you know,
Yeah, boy, that's
feuding with his folks to get this down the what I think is Bout. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And then Biden making sure we get Griner home and this political season. You know what I mean? So but however you get home, you know, I ain't tripping. You know what I mean? There's so many things at play.
Well, I think what you said is an excellent segue of just what it took. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it. You know, anybody, if you ever been locked up, you know, I do criminal defense work, but unfortunately I've been arrested too. And one thing you learn in being arrested is real easy to get arrested, and it takes a hell of a lot sometimes to get you out. And in this situation, it was that much more, because you're dealing with international treaties and, you know, laws from 2 different countries, if not even more, as to what's, you know, just rules of engagement. There's just a lot of things that went into it. And I saw some stuff, you know, shouts out to CNN. I'm gonna give credit where I got the info from, but in reading the CNN piece about it, they're saying that actually the UAE, which might be United American Emirates Islands, as well as Dubai, played a major role in this happening. And the prisoner exchange actually took place at the Abu Dhabi airport. Is the place where they actually exchange. And they're saying that really it's the fact that Russia has good relations with Dubai and the UAE, and same thing with America. We also have good relations there. So it was that ally that was really critical in really helping facilitate the negotiations and get the deal all the way done. So it wasn't even necessarily that, you know, Biden and Putin was just like, hey, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna do this for that. We're running. As much as there were just other people that also had a vested interest. So there were a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that went into it. So, you know, shouts out to everybody that was involved in bringing the system home. You know, people been advocating. You would see the hashtags here and there. You would hear it sometimes in music. You know, if you know people miss her and felt like she should be back home with her family. But I think everyone also has got to see, hey, as we travel too, man, you got to follow the letter of the law. You know, you got to follow the rules, and it's not who am I to tell you what to do. But if you get caught out of bounds, the consequences may be more harsh than we would expect here. And it's, you know, that's just how they do things there. And so that's something that we have to conform with or keep in mind as we travel. I mean, you're gonna do whatever you do, take whatever you want to take in your bag. But if you do get caught out of bounds, understand it may not be just a misdemeanor, it may not be dealt with, you know, same way things will be dealt with in the States. So I think all in all, it's been a real blessing, and everybody was just surprised, man. I was just so shocked to see it. I thought people was trolling, like, yeah, right.
I woke up, breaking news. I'm like, what's going on? You know, and then, okay, bet, you know what I mean? And so, but I was sitting here listening, you know, I was reflecting on, and I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit on that G-Mo-B fly away, say, hey, we abide by the rules that y'all live by, but I'm kind of flip it a little bit. You say, hey, you're welcome to come, you're welcome to stay. But if you disrespect, we either gonna lock your ass up.
We're gonna let your ass fly away.
You never fly away. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of joking, but it was a lesson in this for me personally, because I do travel, and I'm going out the country next month. But I'm like, shoot, let me read up on all things Cancun, Mexico.
Oh, bro.
Trying to come home. I think
It's
about
funny you mentioned Mexico. I almost got mixed in Mexico. Man, I had 8 Mexican police surrounding me, basically shaking me down. It was a misunderstanding, shouts out to Mexico. I was like still, I have a good fortune when I travel, but man, stuff can go left quickly when you overseas, especially you add in that language barrier and just the difference in just communication and just cultural etiquette. Something, one gesture, one voice tone, when anything may be perceived one way in one culture and maybe something a whole nother way in another culture. And, things could just escalate quickly. And honestly, I'm not accusing anywhere of anything, but let's be realistic. When you are somewhere else and you're not from there, you at a disadvantage, man. Right. You're not one of them people that's from that land. Yeah, if the police show up, any kind of disagreement, they more than likely gonna side with their countrymen. They more than likely gonna side with, their fellow citizens, fellow taxpayers, whatever. Then they're gonna be, inclined to side with you, just a random person that's over there having a dispute with them about anything. So with that being the case, it's like you do better to just kind of keep your head on the swivel, man, and stay about the way, follow the rules the best you can and stay out the way.
And to that point, though, it made me think of I was Shaquilla Robinson, and that the young lady that was murdered in Mexico, and it did make my heart feel good to know that they how hard the Mexican law enforcement pressed to bring justice to her family. You know what I mean? It's not, like I say, some things are just not a priority to others. You know what I mean? And for them to kind of step out and want to bring justice to her family was encouraging. You know what I mean? So I think it's, like I said, like to your point, I guess, about the allies, man, is when you do right by folks, sometimes you might find yourself in a good position. People stick the nets out and kind of help you out. You know what I mean? And so absolutely. I hope we have more of that moving forward. And to that end, man, we got to fit some of these laws around here, and we got to, as I sit here myself, kind of blessed and privileged in my own way, in my own right, want to fight more for those who have been disenfranchised and experiencing injustices in the legal system.
Absolutely. Now, I think we all need strong advocates for us in our corner. And us as, Black people, we need to stick together and just be there for one another. So I think overall, people were sometimes more or less vocal than others, but I think as a Black family, we did want to see her return, and people felt like, wow, okay, she was arguably over there on a mission of goodwill and service and trying to, be an ambassador to the WNBA and do what she could do. And then there's also talk that the WNBA players, their salaries are just so slim that a lot of them have to go overseas and wind up having to go to these, different places to play in exhibitions or play in leagues and playing teams over there to supplement income and keep things to where they are. But, I just overall just like to say, hey, it's exciting. We're grateful. We're thankful that she's back and that she's made it back safely, more than anything is that she's back in one piece. And regardless of whatever, nightmares or horror stories we heard, things turned out a lot better, a lot better than we could imagine. So I'm not the most religious person, but still, got to give credit to the adage of let go and let God. Sometimes you got to just put it in Lord's hands and things will work for you, even when everybody say, oh, this is, the bad report, this ain't gonna work, doomsday prophecy. But nah, man, you can't say what can't happen if you keep faith and you just have, you have good friends, you have people supporting you. So that was a real testament to the people in her corner and everything that was, that went into getting her back home. Right. And we can't forget about our people still over there. We send prayers up for Paul Whelan and the brothers still there. Even prayers up for Victor Booth and Victor Bout, return back to your family.
Back to his family.
After going through this, even if people were doing X, Y, and Z, I bet when they get out, they just want to go home and be with their family. Like I'm cool on selling guns, I'm cool on smoking vape pens. I'm just trying to get back to my people.
Right. But I say this too, though, just in our conversation, man, just listen to us talk about this, man, just the level of empathy that we do show, even though it doesn't affect us directly, also is encouraging. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to step outside yourself and got to put yourself in other people's shoes. You know what I mean? And the outpouring of love and support we're showing to these families, man, it's encouraging. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's one thing I think we should do more of in our communities. We talk about as Black men. You know, sometimes we got to step outside our own situation too, and kind of put ourselves in other people's shoes and just still show support, whether they're right or wrong or whatever. Just kind of be more understanding, if you will. Seek understanding, if you will. That's probably a better way to say it.
But we all have fallen short, man. I don't know where we are on the time clock since we're on this different setup right here.
You might at that 15-minute mark.
Okay, I can feel it. I can feel it now. So, you know, I'm gonna let that be final thoughts. What you said is a great way to wrap it. We just wanted to pop out real quick, man, do this, you know, special broadcast of the 3 Yard Play podcast, man. Just celebrate with the family. And hey, we back. It's up. You know, shout out Brittany Griner, everybody that went in to get her home. And Victor Booth, man, congratulations to you for headed back home to Mother Russia. Enjoy yourself and be back with your family. And, you know, moving forward, hopefully we have a lot more reunions like this in which people just get to go home, you know. So we'll keep Carl Wheeling lifted up in prayer, and all of our others, you know, POWs, because there's people all across the nation, man.
Man, you just say the globe at this point. It's all over the globe, you know what I mean? So you just, yes, sir. Like I said, these families, well, we just get them back together, build this community.
Hey, we all we got. So shoot, man. Shouts out to everybody, man, tuning in with us, man. Shouts out to all the new subscribers, and we appreciate everybody for commenting, like, shares, all that good stuff, man. And let us hear your thoughts, man. What do y'all think about, you know, Brittany Griner being free and just the whole process of it and what all went into it? And it could be you could be happy with it, you could be upset, either way. You know, make your voice heard.
Yes, sir.
3 Yard Play podcast. We out. Shouts out to LJ, man.
LJ.
Peace out, y'all.
You see, the thing that separates us from every other group of slaves is the fact that
Thank y'all for tuning in today and every day. And remember to keep running your 3 Yard Play.
Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers, they gon' grow. We gon' water season, watch that harvest flow. I've been crunching
Cause we know heroes are made in the off season.
There should be no reason
they grind the slow, better than crashing out
we
the
get
door.
that money bound for we don't want it.
Let's say, young brothers, remember,
fulfill the promise.
I ain't never 3 yards every day. They can never
I can't
stop.
read that narrative, so ain't no need of calling us. You ain't never had to tell your kid being black was a sin, cause his skin was reflected through America. Taking care of us was just a handout, right? But it was fair when free labor was just as nice. I can bet you your life, your kids living alright. Cause me and mine had to
been
do
rocking
it
with
die
the 3
every
Yard
single
Play
night.
podcast.
I get mine, yeah. You get yours, yeah. But together, nigga, we gon' get some more, yeah. Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers,
So
they
like,
gon' grow.
subscribe, share,
We gon' water
and let's
season, watch that
discuss.
harvest flow. I've been
What's up with
crunching
us?
numbers, winter, fall, spring, and summer. There should be no
Thank
reason
you.
that the baby never hung.